morning, everyone. It's another beautiful day today. However, I just checked my local weather here by asking Siri if it's going to rain, and she said it's likely going to rain today. So that means my thoughts recently of taking my motorcycle to work isn't going to happen, because I don't like riding motorcycles in the rain. It's too slippery, and I don't want to get wet. I don't want to get to work all wet and leaving my bike out in the rain if it rains all day today. So I decided not to take it to work. So we're in the rainy season right now, and the chances of rain is going to be maybe 50-50, depends. You know, the days like today right now, if you look at it, it looks like it's beautiful outside. It's not going to rain. It's sunny. But to one side, to that side there, it looks kind of overcast. Is it going to rain? We'll see. Last week, it said it was going to rain one day, and it didn't rain. I could have taken my bike to work, but I didn't. It could rain while I'm working, but the thought of me having my bike left out in the rain while I'm inside bothers me. So if I had a bike cover and on the way to work it looks nice and sunny that I can ride my bike, great. But at least if I had a cover and I'm inside the work while it's raining, I knew my bike would be covered. I don't have that option, so I'm not going to take my bike to work. So before I continue, I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers and to those people just checking out my channel for the first time. If you guys hear or see something that resonates with you, maybe you guys have a motorcycle and you're thinking of taking your bike to work. I don't know. But if you see something that resonates with you, please consider subscribing. If you subscribe, hit the subscribe key, give me a like and share, and leave me a comment or two. We'll be right back with more.
I'm not suggesting anything so complicated.
So today's conversation is not going to be about deciding or not deciding to take your bike to work. It's more about relationships. First of all, before I begin, I want to say I'm sorry I didn't or haven't been posting any videos lately, but my mind was someplace else. And I don't like posting about my relationship unless it's something that I can share with people and people could get some kind of idea if they're experiencing the same things, or maybe they can benefit from watching the video and what I'm talking about resonates with them. So here we go. So I've been dating this guy for like over a month. I would say about maybe 7 weeks now, okay? And, as you know, I work in a public setting. I meet people all the time. But I'm not going to work to meet people so I can date them. I'm not interested in doing that. So, working in a public setting, you do come across people that may show interest in you, okay? And when they show interest in you, they'll make it known. Sometimes it's not directly, sometimes it's indirectly. And this was kind of like indirectly when I met this guy at work. He's a customer. He comes in sometimes. And the times where I've assisted him as a customer. He seemed kind of nice, soft-spoken guy, not a very big man, kind of thin-boned man, and he was polite with me, friendly. And one day he came in and he told me about how he's having a cookout at his house, and he said that he would like me to go. And then he told me that he had a plane that he has at home in a hangar because he lives in a airplane community. In case you guys haven't seen the video. So I wasn't impressed about the airplane situation. I was in the military, and I saw enough of that. So I wasn't impressed, and I let him know. Anyways, when he had invited me to his home, I didn't show much interest. But it's because of what I said in the beginning. I'm not going to work so I can date people that I meet that say they like me or act like they like me. And I did see him again weeks later, and he said to me, "You never called me." I said to him, "Well, I don't have your phone number." And his response was, "Well, you have access to my information because you work here." And I thought it was kind of inappropriate for me to go on the computer and find out his phone number and his address and all that stuff. It's highly inappropriate. So he ended up giving me his phone number. And after he gave me his phone number, I didn't call him for several weeks. And when I saw him again at the store, he said, "I never heard from you. You never called." And I said, I'll call you. So when I called him, finally, he told me that this coming week, when I was talking to him, that he's having a cookout and his friends and neighbors will be there. He said it would be nice if I can make it. So we talked for a little bit longer, and then he went his way. And that week, I thought about it. I found out where he lived, and so now I had his address. So anyways, where am I going with this conversation? Where I'm going with this conversation is, if you like someone and then you finally date them, there are signs that I would say to look for, because if you like somebody so much, you will tend to turn a blind eye towards these little things that can be problematic as your relationship goes forward. Case in point, I did go to the cookout that he invited me, and I saw all of his friends and his neighbors there. They were all very polite and very friendly with me. And till this day, I'm still dating the same person. I just want to show you guys some of the subtle signs that start at the beginning. And if you don't be careful, you're gonna avoid them altogether because you like the person so much. And whatever it is happening that I'm going to describe to you could be a problem for you later. And then don't say to yourself, "Whoa, I didn't see this coming. It wasn't happening at the get-go." But most likely it starts at the get-go. You just decided not to make a big deal about it until it snowballed, and now you got a fucking problem. And now you're either thinking of leaving him, or you're giving him ultimatums, or whatever. But anyway, that first day when I met him at his home, he started spewing information about him that did not involve me, and I did not ask him to do. he was saying things to me like, oh, in my will, in my testament, the piece of paper that's legal, he said that his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend is on the will to receive everything when he dies. In his will and testament, his ex or his wife who passed away is on there to receive everything when he dies. Now, mind you, at that time, this wasn't going to be a date. We were just friends. He invited me to his house for a cookout. Why is he telling me all this? I hardly knew him. Is he on to something? Like is he giving me a warning in that get-go that if we ever decide to date or be an item, that I shouldn't think about getting the things he has because his ex-girlfriend and his wife that passed away is on his will? That kind of blew my mind, because after I went home, I'm like thinking to myself, why did he tell me that? I don't give out personal information like that to anybody on a first date. And I've been dating him for 7 weeks, and I have not given him any personal information about me, whether deeply personal or financial. And by the way, let me go back and tell you about the party. So the party or the cookout was very nice. I had fun. I ate. I was there maybe about 45 minutes, and then I left and I went home. But when I got home, I thought about the remark he made to me. Because when I was there, he talked about his financial situation, which is he retired at a very young age of 55, and he's very successful, okay, and yada yada yada. He was boasting, he was showing off, okay. And by the way, we've been dating over a month. He's still doing the same thing. He's still boasting, he's still showing off. But not only that, along the way of this relationship, he has injected at a very slow rate, and very minimalistic little insults at me, and I don't like it. Like, he'll throw little jabs at me. For example, if we have a discussion and I miss the point of the discussion, he'll say, "That's what we're talking about. I don't know about you. You didn't get what I was talking about?" Like that. Little jabs. And I'm slowly discovering and seeing that he's very critical. He's very critical. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I'm starting to see that I see some cracks in his armor. And because ever since I started dating him, I've been showing him respect, especially at his home. Okay? And I don't insult him. I'm not very highly critical, but I'm watching him carefully. So just recently I decided, because it seems to me that I've been spending most, if not all weekends at his home. Friday night, when I leave here to go home, I'll make sure the cats have their food and they have enough water, that my home is clean. I pack my bag and I go to his house and we just spend time together. We stand around the house, or he'll have his friends come over or his neighbors come over. We'll have dinners. We'll go out to eat. We'll go out, listen to some music. We have a great time. I enjoy being around him, except for the little criticisms that he does and the little jabs. And just recently I noticed he got aggravated while we were watching a movie, and he kind of like shoved me away to go sit on the opposite side of the couch. But he did it jokingly, but there was a mixture of seriousness in there. But I took it very serious, but I didn't show it. And I gave him a space on the couch, and I tell you, that felt so weird. It felt so weird. Why would you do that when you've been dating for about a month, right? And why would you do little criticisms so quick, if at all, in your relationship? So I decided to do something. Because I spent the bulk of my weekends with him at his home, I decided to cut back on that and do it with no notice. This past weekend, I spent Friday night, and then Saturday morning, I left and I came home. When I came home, oh, by the way, we went motorcycling Saturday morning, and then we went out for lunch and grabbed some pizza on our motorcycles. And after that, I didn't tell him anything. I went home and he went his way. But when I got home, I texted him that I will not be going back this Saturday evening to spend the night with him into Sunday. And I left at that. I didn't contact him after that the whole entire day. I stayed home. I did some cleaning. I took care of my cats. I made something to eat. I watched a movie. I went out on my motorcycle by myself, and I had a great time. And he never texted back or called me, and I left it that way. But we did have plans for him to come over Sunday evening to have dinner with me. Okay? I told him that I'm not going to spend the Saturday night with him like I usually do, that I'll see him Sunday evening for our 4 o'clock dinner. All right? And all of Sunday, I didn't call him and he didn't call me. We didn't text. And I thought nothing of it. So finally, about 3 o'clock, I called him and I told him if he was coming to dinner. He said he's got to go, but he's got a lot of cleaning to do and a lot of work to do in his hangar, and that he'll try to make it. I said, look, I started dinner and dinner's all set. And he says, okay, let me finish up something. I'll be right over. When he came over my house on Sunday to have the dinner, I can see that his facial expression changed. His facial expression changed, and it wasn't his usual bubbly self. I'll tell you why. Because he got so comfortable with me in his behavior and his expectation of me, that along the way of this relationship, he started to get too comfortable. Okay? Maybe his true self was coming out, and that was why he was so comfortable. Well, his true self involves the little pricklings that he likes to do. It involves the highly criticism that he likes to do. Okay? And etc., etc. He did those things because I allowed him. I never challenged him. But when I was home all of Saturday evening and into Sunday evening, most of Sunday by myself, I got to think about all these things and how I'm going to handle it. And I'm going to handle it. Because from now on, when he's highly criticism, I'm going to challenge him on this. If he's going to be negative in any way towards me, I'm going to challenge him on this. Because when he had all Saturday and mostly all Sunday without me being around, when he was used to having me, he got really nervous. He hadn't heard from me, he hasn't seen me, and for once in over a month, I didn't spend the whole weekend with him. So he thought about this. Maybe he was thinking about why I didn't do that. Maybe he felt that, hey, maybe I'd said something to her that she didn't like, because she usually spends Friday night and Saturday night here, and I didn't. Okay? Because when he came over, let's say he was more respectful and more nicer, and I can see that he's holding back his tongue. Okay? He was careful with his words. And that's the way I like it. Because you know what? I'm not an over critical person. I'm not judgmental. Okay? And from now on, that's how it's going to be. I'm going to tread carefully with him and watch his conversation with me carefully, because I'm not a piece of shit. I will catch this early, and it is early. A month is early. I don't think he should keep talking to me about his private finances and how great of a smart person he is and how his friends are not as smart as him, because he criticizes everybody. I noticed. He criticizes his friends, his family. Well, I criticize my family too, but I think I have a good reason to. And he likes to lift himself up. Not once has he given me any compliment, except last night when I made dinner, he complimented me and he thanked me. Okay? We do that with each other anyways. Okay? I always compliment him how nice he looks and how much I'm attracted to him. But he doesn't say that to me. Okay? Everybody wants to be complimented. Everybody wants to feel attractive to their girlfriend or their boyfriend. So anyways, I'm going to continue this, but I'll continue it on the way home. So it's 6 o'clock, guys, and I'm heading back home. I had a busy day today. One of my co-workers has been out sick, so some things I didn't have time to do that I wanted to do. What I'd like to do is I'd like to pick up where I left off this morning, and that is when I was describing to you guys my experiences in this new relationship that I've been having for over a month. I'm simply trying to describe to you how I'm going to handle it. How you guys handle it is totally up to you. But I feel like if I address the problem and start acting right away and not let it develop over time, then I'm not going to waste my time. You be wasting your time with someone that is treating you in a way that's not accepted. The longer you stay in it, the more time you're wasting, And to me, it's not healthy. And why do something that's not healthy for a long time? Because basically you are just wasting your time. So, anyways, we don't know why people do the things they do. All I know is that a lot of issues that people have are things associated with insecurity. Insecurity makes people act in abnormal ways or not normal ways. And also, I think a lot of people do things to have more control for the people that they're with in a relationship. Maybe it stems from childhood behaviors, from what they experienced when they were young, or maybe they had an inferior complex that was from something that they experienced that was very negative, to want them to control other people. I think when people are insecure, they like to make people feel less than they are. Because if they're dating somebody who's very positive, very outgoing, and that may make them feel inferior, or they can't stand to be with someone that they can't control. But I'm gonna handle this in a very positive way. Like when I described that I started this routine with Kevin, my boyfriend, that every weekend I was spending a lot of time with him and spending my weekends at his home. It's not normal for someone to be sarcastic all the time with you on a new relationship. It's not normal for someone to criticize so much in a relationship. I've heard of constructive criticism. This isn't constructive criticism. And it's not the only thing that he does. But he's always bragging about how smart it was of him to retire early. That's okay with telling someone that, but it's not something that you do in the beginning of a relationship of less than 2 months. Did I need to know about how he dealt with his exes, and how his ex and also his wife that passed away, that they're on his will? Why do I need to know that on the first day that we dated? The first day I went to his house when he invited me to go have a barbecue with him and his friends. It was out of context. It didn't make any sense to me. I've met people, and on the first day I've done something with them or invited them over my house or out in town and out to eat or whatever. I don't sit with people and tell them who is on my will, you know? And while we're dating, he's asking me to do things that his wife did. You know what I mean? That she would surprise him with these sexual encounters in odd places. I'm not going to try to be a replacement for his wife and do the things that his wife did. To me, that's a red flag right there. And from now on, when I'm with him and he does stuff like this, I'm going to call him out on it. And I'm going to tell him, you know, I don't appreciate being put down. I don't appreciate being criticized. Okay? And if that's something that he can't control, that he's always going to do, then I'm not going to be in that relationship. I'm not. I'm going to watch him carefully on how he treats me and says certain things to me that I don't agree with. But I see some differences when I didn't contact him after I went home afternoon from our motorcycle ride, because me sleeping over his house every weekend, always at his house, that created a routine for him, and he became to expect it. He thought that every weekend I was going to spend time over his house. No, that's not going to happen. There's going to be some weekends that I'm not going to sleep over his house. I'm going to be at my house. But if he wants to come over and spend some time with me at my home, I'm open for that. I'm open for that. So anyways, I have self-worth. You have self-worth. If your spouse, your boyfriend, or your husband is treating you a certain way that you feel you don't deserve, then you need to speak up and let him know that you respect yourself, you have self-worth, because you don't treat him or her in a manner that you don't approve of. If you treat them with respect and love and you're caring, then you don't do that to them, and they don't do that to you. And if you do it early in a relationship when you see it, then it's possible that you can have a better, meaningful relationship. That's how I see it. Because if you don't do anything, then you're living a lie. You can't go out with your friends and go out of town and do things and pretend you're this happy, go-lucky person in this relationship in front of people, and then when you go home, you experience these negative things. All right, you're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to people in your family or your friends, because there's going to come a time where you're just going to snap and you're going to say, I can't take this anymore. Not only will your friends and family say, well, how long has this been going on? Oh, it's been going on for the past few years. And then they're going to be like, well, why didn't you do anything about it? And why did you stay with this person? All right? Not only that, but if you don't say nothing to your partner, or your spouse, your husband, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, that what they're doing is not accepted, by that time, because you went so long without discussing it, they're going to be like, well, why didn't you tell me that I was doing these things? You never complained about it for the past 3 years. Why are you complaining about it now? You're responsible for your own happiness. Your spouse is not responsible for your happiness. You are. That means if you want to be happy, you got to do what it takes to be happy. And if you're with someone that you want to be with, but they're treating you this way, they need to know about it. They need to fix it, or you're out. And that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm catching this early. But I saw subtle signs right from the beginning, like 4 weeks ago. So anyways, I just thought I'd touch back on it a little bit. And if you guys have experienced this or are experiencing it, let me know how you're handling it. Let me know what your outcome. Did you stay in a relationship? How long did they do this to you? You know? So anyways, I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.